So in my A2 media class, my group and I decided to make a music video. Based on this, we had to create either a digipack, a magazine advert, or a website. Personally, for me, I decided to create a digipack and a magazine advert to promote my main product. This was because I felt that for me personally, it was more valuable in time and I'll put more effort into it compared to making a website, which I personally found to be too difficult and time consuming. Although it probably would have gotten me more marks, it still probably would have taken more time compared to making a magazine advert or digipack, which I could put more effort in and possibly get the similar amount of marks from. So we had to create it. Like, the one song we chosen for this was Sorry by Justin Bieber. So we, based on research wise, I didn't want to directly focus on songs similar to Sorry in that specific genre because I felt that would be too similar, common. So I decided to possibly go beyond it, so out of normal and conventional, because I didn't want it to be directly conventional. Because in our music video, it was about love. It has the pop dance like sound to it, but we wanted to have it more focused on love compared to that. So personally I decided that I wanted it to have a focus of artist and maybe possibly background. I was considering to do it of the other characters in the music video, the actors, but however I found out that it's not specifically part of the specifications for the song, but to do it about an album, even though it was more easier to do of the song, but since it was part of the specification, we had to do it about an album. So then I changed my idea to that. So I was going to do it of my artist. My initial idea was to have it of 6 panels of the artist, but then of thinking about it and probably planning it out, I realized that from the image I took, I had it of silhouettes of the building, so I used that instead. As you can see from the image shown on the screen, that it's basically not one panel. It's not basically 3 different images. It's one image which I enlarged and slightly stretched a bit, not much, but slightly, just to fill up the space. Because then from there it came out perfectly sized and it fits perfectly. From there I laid the text in a specific way that it only covered sections of it, so the sky was visible. I done this so it relates to my main product. As you can see that it's focusing on the sky and not on the background image, which is the buildings. Although it looks nice in the images, I was gonna have them shown in the 3 images from the front cover, the middle and the back. So on the inside I wanted to make it all similar. This is why I done the 3 images, because then on the 2 sides you can have the thank you, which is shown on the image, and in the middle it has the CD section, which the CD will go into, and it will look very interesting and different compared to other digipacks which I've seen online and based on other students' work, because most students have it as 6 images or maybe 1 landscape image and not maybe 1 landscape images covering 3 separate sections of it. For my work, I wanted to make the font on the front cover not as big and have it's not like large, but I didn't want it to be of the artist's name. I made it so it was the album name instead. This is because I wanted to have a more focus on the album compared to the artist, because although it doesn't follow the strict conventions, I wanted to go past it and do my own type of thing, which is beyond it, because it's not as common. And if people know who the artist is and they see his face, which is Joseph DeMonto's face, they'll possibly know what the song is already, because they would have heard it beforehand. So when they see it, they'll be like, oh, it's really interesting, and they see the back, they see his pictures, and the font looks nice, and the way it's set out in layering, the layout of it, it's made so that the text goes above the main artist's head, and then the track list goes on the side of what songs is in it. And also, although on normal conventions you meant to have all the studios, I didn't want to main focus on it, because then Although it needs to give credit to the studios, I gave it to Jeff Tam Studios, which is the main one. It's so it doesn't take away from the main image of the song, because I wanted it to have the focus on the characters at the bottom three, which you can see from there. Many eyes go to Joseph DeMonto, then the face, then it's the thing track list on the side, which I had to adjust because it kept getting covered and then you wouldn't be able to read it properly. Mainly speaking on the front cover, which was in aspect one of my favorite parts of it, is the lens flare which was shown. The lens flare, as you can see, that it goes slightly around the text, so it puts more focus on departed, because if it was towards near his head it would be covered by the trees, but this way it's a more plain area and it's directly in the center of the image, so there's equal space on either side of it, and from the top to the bottom I made it so that it was in between those two sections. The next digipack shown is Swedish House Mafia's album Until One. Quite differently to the others, this digipack is simply just the font large scaled in italics for some of it, and normal. It's the font, I'm not sure which it is, but the way it is, it draws attention to the lettering and words, because there's nothing else to see besides that. It can be as in like when you're walking, say if it's online maybe, or in a shop, and you see that it's like right in your face, because there's no other images to distract you from the names. There's no companies, no studios, nothing like that. It's just the actual name of it. And from the back of it you can see that it's mainly covered in information based on the songs inside this album, which is 24 songs, and they're all written by Swedish House Mafia, but they also have other people inside them as well, such as Tiny Temple, Clocks. Then there's a lot of other companies working with them. This can be like, for them personally, they can make them expand like how they are, how big they are, who else can see them. Because once they have a bigger fan base, they can get more popular. So say if you're having a song on an album, say for me, I might say featuring another artist on it, which can like expand how it will look to the target audience, because I can focus on other ones who are also in my specific genre. This would mean that audiences from the other people's work, from the other artists, might see their one and join my one, which are going to expand that in terms of music. Also, how in common with other music videos, digipacks, you can see that at the bottom it's mainly focused for the copyrights, and also the barcode, like in the other digipacks, is right in the middle instead of on the side, and you can see that there's no other studios involved that are shown on the back besides Virgin. And also on the spine and on the side it shows Swedish House Mafia being the top, like right at the front, and then being joined together, and then Until One being after that. This can be so like they know that the people who made this album is Swedish House Mafia, so in case there's someone new who sees it, someone who never heard of them before, they will know that it's them. From the image shown now, you can see that the song that the digipack is from Eminem's album Karma. On this one you can see from the front cover the main focus being on the name Eminem and the words comma being below, which are more smaller. This is because Eminem is someone who's very popular in a rap community, so they will know who he is just by that. And the signature backwards E is something that they know which he would have. While this is something used, it goes into kind of a direct conflict with the tone of the main image, because it's mainly in darker tones. It's not bright like Eminem is, the name is. Even the album name is in black, which relates more to the actual digipack than the name. You can also see in the CD at the bottom that the name's Karma, and it's in a studio. Well, underneath you can see a person which shows their legs and blood all around them. Also, it's kind of neat and slightly different the way the placement is of the producers, the companies, studios around it, because it's not placed like directly in a line at the bottom. It's like just thrown about, which can show like the messiness of it all. And then from the next one, you can see on the track list, from what you can see is that it's different because the songs are not all full length. Some of them are shown as being 53 seconds long, a minute long, which is not usual normal for most artists, because they usually have long songs instead of committing small ones, which could be possibly behind the scenes songs which aren't found anywhere else, that they only have on this specific album. You can also see on the bottom row for the digipack, on the front and back cover, it says Producer Advisory, the Shady Productions, and all those. They're all in a straight line, which has a kind of a contrast between the CD and that, which probably has a meaning but can't figure it out. And you can see on the image on the background, it's of a building which kind of looks haunted. It looks like a church slightly, which probably can mean karma, death, revenge. As you can see from the image shown, that this one is Professor Green's At Your Convenience. This digipack is slightly different to most normal ones, because in others there has maybe a focus on other names, not bands, studios, etc, etc. But on this one, the main focus is just the name and the album name. While it is more important, the fact is that his name is in bold. They're all in bold, but it's highlighted with the square around it, the lines. It brings the audience's focus onto the name, more so on the name than the actual album name, because it's more image based than name, because most people recognize Professor Green compared to his album At Your Convenience. It's because it's more of people will know it compared to like just seeing it. So if you go to a store, you see At Your Inconvenience, you won't recognize who it's by, compared to if you walk into the store and you see Professor Green like highlighted, you will know it's his track, and then audience will be more wanting to buy it. Also, you can see that in the image, it has a focus on him as a person and the lighting, with his clothing being on show with more formal wear. And also, it's having a focus on the drinks in front of him, which are all alcoholic based, and it has maybe a slight connection with it because it's At In Your Convenience, so maybe there's a connection there. And also, the songs on the back of the track list, the image shown is of a glass stain, which is probably water or maybe an alcohol, and this is to show a direct link between the front cover and the back cover, which is something that you should aim for in the digipack. Also on this one, it has the barcode at the top compared to the usual at the bottom. This is probably because the bottom is mainly useful information regarding to the CD and his website. Also on the top, it has all his track lists in the middle, facing center instead of being onto the side. This is to show maybe being the main thing to see, because it is in bigger font size. You can see that all of the track lists are listed from the top to the bottom, probably in order of which one's more popular to least popular, which seems like. Also, how the beginning of it starts with the cups meet and it goes around in right direct center. On the bottom you can see it has all the trademarks and who the record label is, and how you can go into the website to get bonus features buying this, which is something that most digipacks don't offer, because they don't give that small hint on what they can offer, so the audiences want to buy it. An example of an effective text used for digipack would be Avicii's True album. As you can see in the image, it's quite a simplistic digipack, but although it is simplistic, it has meaning behind it, such as the fact that he has the two opposite triangles, which he's mainly known for. Because if you see in music videos that he does, there's a direct link between that, and you can see in the visuals, and it's also on the digipack. Another thing which they do is the use of the Universal Studios logo, the pyramid, which is another one of their companies, and also the fact of having the True album in the center with a circle. It shows something which other digipacks do not have, because you can see that it is something unique and different. The main image of the digipack is of Avicii himself. Although it is in black and white tone color, you can't really differentiate his facial features properly, so we don't know who he is. But as a person who has listened to his music, you can tell, and even this in itself shows how wide and how once people know who the person is, the artist is, they automatically recognize his work, such as the main focus of this image being of True and having the Avicii name in small letters at the bottom, while also on it having pyramid throughout, and also the logo throughout the images, throughout the digipack. You can see on the bottom, on the CD section of it in the middle, above it there has the thing, the two triangles, and even on the back of it. Also, on the back of the digipack, you can see that it has the track list of Wake Me Up, You Make Me, Hey Brother, all the songs in this album. But next to it, it has the timings of each song and how long it is. This is a nice way of doing it, but however, like for my one, there's a difference because I didn't feel the need to have all the timings on there. It wasn't as important, and I wanted to make sure that the background had a more nicer image, so it's more it has more appeal to it compared to just being blank, so they can look at it and they see something they never saw throughout the other music video. And it's slightly continuity because you can see from the music video that it's based on two things. Like, it has the normal pictures, and then it's that one with the main character being directly in the center, well, slight to the side of it, but slightly in the center, and the song tracks being on the side. And I didn't want to just overlap the songs onto the character because it will feel a bit too much overflowing in a way. So I had it so that only a slight amount of some sponsors, the studio was on the actual character, which is Joseph DeMonto, and I wanted it so that the name goes over his head because it seems a bit more appealing compared to just being separate. Overall, based on what you've seen from the original artists who made the digipacks, you can see that most of them, although they are quite interesting and unique in their own sense, they are pretty plain and simple because they have the 4-panel digipack layer of it. It's not the ones which I will use, which is the 6-panel one. It's the 4 one, which it's simplistic in its form, as it only has 4 panels, which is a front, back, and then only one other panel can be used for information for the artist or have an image, which will most likely be maybe tracks or not tracks, slight information about the artist, or maybe it's even blank. And then the other section is where the CD will be placed. So it wasn't as appealing, so I had to make sure I done something. I wanted it to be more larger as well. And based on feedback given by teachers, we needed to make 6-panel, and 6-panel also made it easiest for us to show what we wanted in the digipack. We wouldn't have to condense it down and make it shorter or have other stuff in it. Like, we wouldn't have to decrease what we wanted to put in it. We can put almost as much as we really want in it, because there's a lot of space. There's a lot of places where you can add different things. So just having 4 images, you could have put and 6 images. You could have 6 landscapes, 3 images of the artist, 3 images of landscapes, whatever. You have like a larger selection of what you can do compared to just 4 bits, because after that point you need to have 3 of them for specific reasons, and there's only 1 for the other one. You have 3 for what you want, and 3 for you can do whatever you want with those sections. So for me, then it leads on to my section of my work. As you can see, that my poster has its own unique way of doing it. Well, not unique way of doing it, but it's something which I couldn't really find online for magazine advert posters. There wasn't many shown. It's mainly had a focus on, as you can see, front covers of specific artists. There's no real, maybe small amount of adverts. They didn't have it. This meant that I had to go in my own sense of direction. So I thought what it most likely would contain in an advert, it will have its artist name, which is Joseph Demonto, the album name, which is Departed, and then I had hit debut, so it's like it shows that it's really, really good, and then it's the album is out now. So people who see it, they will know that if they want to buy the music video, the album, that it's already out, instead of waiting maybe a few months down the line. They know that when they see it, the poster, that the song is already out now. And the fact that there's a focus on the name is Joseph Demonto, and it's near his face, so the people who see it will know who he is. And then you can see below it is Departed, which shows that the name is of more significance than Departed, although it's the same size. I use the same font because I wanted to show continuity between the digipack and the advert, so they know that it's all linking together. Also, it shows from actual music video as well, because in the music video you can see that there's like similar type of writing on the actual name of it by Joseph Demonto. As it pans down, you can see that it's the same name, and it's probably a really similar font, so there's continuity in that aspect. And then below it, for the hit debut album out now, I also had continuity because it follows the same one as the tracklist. It's the same font used in each one. This is because it allows the audience to see that it's not different. It's really, really similar. So say if they look at it, they'll be like, oh, they will know that they're both the same thing. So say they have the track, they go to the store, they see it, they might recognize that the font is really similar. And then below, it's now available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. This was because I wanted to let the audience know, the target audience know, that once they see this advert, that the song's are already out in specific locations that they can buy it from, or they can listen to it on. This is because most people, when they see something, if they like it, they need instant gratification. It's another theory, which is like a theory. But this, I didn't base it on this, I just done it, and then I realized afterwards that it relates to it, because people want to get something instantly. They don't want to wait, because after a certain amount of time, people forget about it. So say it says out, say the hit debut are out now in 4 or 5 months time. Most people within a few days, even a few hours, they will forget about it. But if it's out now and it looks nice, it sounds nice, maybe if it's an online magazine, they see it, then even better, because then they might see a bit of the track from an album section of it. Then they will see it, and then I'm like, oh no, let's go see if I can listen to all of it. Then they will listen to all of it, and then eventually they might need to listen to it offline. Then instead, say they're going out somewhere, so then that way they will probably download it from Google Play, iTunes, buy it, purchase it, which makes we will make money. So yeah. However, with my advert, I felt it was a bit simplistic in the way it was made, but even though it is kind of simplistic, it follows like what you expect to see in an advert. It might not have, say, the company, studios who made it, and etc. like that, or maybe the tour dates, but it does follow the general rules of what it's meant to have: the name, when it's coming out, where it's located. It has that aspects of it, so that way I find it good. But I still feel like it's a bit simple compared to how it could have been, And also one issue which I felt kind of bugged me slightly was how that the hit debut album and the Joseph Departed, they're not in line, it's slightly offline, but most people think that it looks better because it shows that there's a difference in it, so that it's not flowing like hit debut album up now available on or in line, while Joseph Demont and Departed are both in line too. So it has like a difference between the actual artist and everything else is separate. That way it's interesting, and like based on feedback I got from friends and people from school in my year group and others, they felt that it's simple but it does its job effectively, and it looks quite nice compared to some others that they've seen which they felt was maybe a bit too rushed. They didn't choose the correct fonts. The image was a bit grainy, while my one is in focus. It has the lens flare, which gives it that dramatic, gives it basically a flare to it. It looks more appealing colors wise. It's more brighter. The sun is really light. The colors are slightly vibrant, and then the depth of field as well. It also brings more focus into the words compared to when it's close up. Everything's in focus, and you can see the background more. This way, there's like a depth of field, so people are more focused on the wording of it compared to the background. Finally, the way I felt that it focuses purely, like there's a direct relationship between the music video and the ancillary products, both the digipack and the advert, is that basically it has kind of a storyline to it, because in the first shot you see it's of the sky and it says sorry by Joseph DeMonto or Justin Bieber, and then it slowly pans down and it shows that it tracks, and for the main inside part of it you can see that it has the focus of the building and also the skyline. This happened by luck basically, because I took this just for fun personal reasons, but it relates perfectly with the work, and the way that it's laid out with the text and the CD layout of it, it's directly centered, so it's all aligned, not perfectly, but the CD is aligned perfectly. It shows it's directly in the center, and I didn't need to adjust it or anything. It was perfectly in place, and the image, the way it's taken, was also directly in the center of the image, and based on the difference between the bottom and the top was also perfect in place, with a slight adjustment having to make of the CD to the left slightly, which was understandable because this was taken freehand. But it has a big connection with the work, because the story, as you can see from the bottom of it, of the main characters, you see that it flows from beginning to end. You see the beginning of Joseph in the middle of the back. You see that it's him in the location you first see him at. Then it slowly moves in the song, with the artist moving from that location all the way to the other side, which was also taken in a one-shot take. But in this one, we show that the pictures of him in different specific locations, like when he sits down on the ledge, which it might not be shown at the final piece of it, but you can see that Joseph is singing in that spot, and then on the front cover you see him in the same similar spot, with the background having the lens flip on him. This image is also used in the advert, because then it shows continuity, because it's the main image that I used. And then they can see that, oh look, it directly is there and there. They will know it, even though it's flipped on the other side. They will know that it's the same image, and they can see the Departed. The second thing is quite big on it, so they will know. Also, on the other side of it is the focus of the Never Give Up cap, the snapback. This way you can see in the music video, it has the same focus on it. When he walks, he holds the back in a similar position when he walks, and he jumps to the beat of the song. That way you can see like a direct connection between it and the thing. But the main part of it, which I find that is the best direct link, is of the character, its flows. It's all similar, it's all in the same locations that was filmed in the music video, so that way there's not, oh, it wasn't in some other location which wasn't shown. You can see that it's there from the music video and from the vlogs and everything like that. Also, the thank you section of it, it's like it's something which you don't really see most people do. Like they do similar small ones, but this one is really large scale. There's a lot of writing to it. It goes more in depth with feelings and emotions, which basically is deported. As in that way, it relates as well because he's thanking people for not going. All the songs about it has love that it's like all the tracks in the album connotate sadness and stuff. He's still grateful for people who were there and stuck with him. That way, it's like it gives a boost to it, which was why like the music video is upbeat. So even though there's sadness to it, it gives it that lifting up upbeatness to it, which doesn't happen anymore. And also you can see that there's kind of like hidden meaning in the tracks because Give Me Love, Secret Love, oh, Give Me Love twice. See, there's a sign because in the music video there's not a specific ending to it, it's more ambiguous. And that way, you know, it's like he wants love but he wants a secret, or maybe he doesn't get it. Who knows?